Hey guys, it's Casey with Our Country Designs. Today I'm going to show you how to apply General Finishes gel stain. This is their really popular stain called Java Gel. Kind of have the camera up really high. So this is gel stain. It's a really thick stain. You can see it's almost like a thick paintish. It's actually thicker than what I would consider to be paint. It's really, really thick. This is the type of stain that is very hard to clean up. Definitely want to wear gloves when you do it. And then just using like throwaway foam brushes for this. You don't need to do any type of fancy brush. If you do, this is the type of stain that you have to clean those brushes with mineral spirits, and it gets just a lot for the cleanup with it. So I like to use just these throwaway foam brushes. So I have like half a broken big one that I'm gonna try to use just because I want to use a bigger one. Otherwise I just got this little dinky tiny one, which will work too, but I just would prefer to try to get it with a bigger one so it doesn't take quite so long. So you need the throwaway brush, and then you need some paper towel or shot cloths, and then you're gonna utilize these to wipe it away. All right, so the gel stain in general, you have to mix it really well. Okay, so I mixed it prior. And then the kind of downside to gel stain is that it takes a long time to dry in between coats. So they want you, let's see what their suggestion is, good drying conditions, 12 to 24 hours in between coats. So I always just do it 24 hours later. This is not one that you can get away with doing a second coat sooner than that. A lot of times with oil-based stains, they say you want to wait a similar length of time, but I can still get away with doing a second coat pretty quickly. This gel stain is not the case. You really want to give it the time because it's going to be really, really tacky otherwise, and then you're going to really ruin the look of it. All right, so how you're going to work with the Java Gel or the gel stain is we're going to work in really like long motions, and we're going to work in sections. If I were to have an even bigger dresser, I would even more so do sections because as it dries, it gets tacky really quickly. So I'm going to just take my foam brush and I'm going to paint it on back and forth the long ways here until I have at least half of it covered. And then I'm gonna take the paper towel and wipe it down. And when we wipe it down, we wanna try to do nice, smooth strokes. So you guys can see it. I tried to put the camera up as high as possible so you could see as much as you can. This brush, again, is like half falling apart, but it's gonna work. So I have this top was already 100% sanded down. That isn't considered to be necessary with the Java Gel, because the Java Gel, unlike other stains, this this stain is going to be more of a sitting on top of the surface rather than soaking into it. So you don't have to sand it all the way down, but 99% of the time I do, because I use it mostly on the tops of dressers or desks, and I like to get all of the scratches out, because when you're refinishing furniture, normally the tops are what has the most damage to it. So I like to get all of that out. So you want to try to do kind of a smooth, consistent layering. You don't want it to glob it on super heavy or anything. So I'm going to get about half of this done, and then we'll wipe off the first half. And this is just a really pretty color. It's a dark espresso brown. All right, we'll set that aside. Grab one of our paper towels here. And I'm gonna fold the paper towel just so that I can try to get as smooth of a clean lines as I pull it across. And I'm gonna literally, you can't see all the way up here, but I'm gonna start from the top and just pull all the way through, straight through, and then go back up to the top. And I kind of keep the pressure on top as I pull across with my upper hand. just go back and do the next one. So you can tell even with one coat, it really pulls out the color beautifully. But I always do a second coat just for consistency's sake. So I'm gonna put this down so we can get this second half on. And then we're gonna do the edges last, which I'll use the smaller brush for. This brush is gonna fall apart on me pretty quick here. The other really nice colors they have a gray, is a really pretty one. They have a black, which is really nice for a stain. You don't often see black stain. And then the other one, the color that I use quite frequently is called Antique Walnut, and that's a really nice, it's a much lighter color than this one is. And I use that on pieces where I do the paint in a dark color. The paint on this dresser is white with some accenting to it, some glaze. And then we're gonna go back, grab our paper towel here and do the same thing. You wanna just try to pull across in as straight of a line as you can. I've never had much of an issue with it, but some people will say that they have problems with lines showing up. And maybe that's because they're utilizing, it's not sanded all the way down. I'm not sure. But I've never really ran into it. Some people in tutorials will use like a ruler to make sure that they're getting it really even throughout. I've just never really found the need to do that. All right, so my dresser here is on wheels. So then I'm gonna take an even smaller paintbrush, foam brush still, and I'm gonna go around and do the edges. Now there's not really a need to let it sit for very long unless you're doing it over the top of something that isn't completely sanded down. Then you might wanna let it sit a little bit before you wipe it off. But when it's sanded down all the way like this, it soaks that into it enough that you don't need to do that. So again, I'm gonna come back tomorrow and put on a second coat of this. And then again, you're gonna let it dry for at least 24 hours. I think they might even recommend 48 hours before you put the top coat on. I'll take a peek at the can here in a second. The other side. And I'll give you a peek of the whole look of the dresser here too once I get this part done. Kind of see, it's a kind of a skinnier or a shorter, skinny dresser that I really like, because a lot of times you either find a really long short one or these ones that are not as wide are normally really tall. But that's not the case with this one, and I really like that about it. So I'm going to grab a new piece of paper towel, and I'm just going to pull across and under. I'll start down on this end, pull across, and kind of keep it under too, because sometimes the gel stain will drip under the edge. So you just want to make sure you're not leaving that behind, otherwise you'll have a really gooey glob left. I'm just going to go back one more time. Get a little bit more of this excess off. All right, I'm going to take my gloves off so I can grab the phone here and show you guys the look. Let me see if I can turn it around here so I can actually show you what I'm pointing at. All right, so this dresser it's an antique white with Van Dyke brown glaze, all General Finishes products. And then the top will be this Java gel. And here are our drawers that will be going with it. So you can see that the glaze has accented into the drawers. And then the last thing I have that I still have to work on here for this piece is cleaning up the original hardware, and then we are going to spray paint it and give it a new look. So this will be spray painted in rubbed bronze, or oil rubbed bronze I think is what they call it, spray paint. It's my favorite one. It's kind of a brownish, a really dark brown, kind of like almost the top of this that we're working on. So I think it'll bring the piece together. So what I'll do is I'll scrub these down really, really good, clean them up, and then spray them. And then you guys will see the finished look.